stats for losers, man. I don't get involved in that stuff. But
Angel Rashad Milligan rolling out.
That's a good question.
Brandon,
We can't ask Rashad questions.
Hey, Rashad.
Yo. What's up? My name is Rashad Milligan. If you are new to the channel, this is the road to 5K subs, man. We got a couple of things to talk about today. The lead story of the day before we got to like nighttime was Jaylen Herz and this entire White House situation. Apparently, there were three players, three prominent Eagles players who didn't go to. Hold on. Now, give me a second. Who didn't go to the who didn't go to the White House today, and led by Jaylen Herz. So here it is. Here's the official report from Yamiche Alcindor, who is a White House correspondent for NBC News. Let me see if there's another joint over here, if I can find it. Because it was like, oh, hold on. I'm sorry. Anyways, yes, Jaylen Brown declined to go. I don't know if you guys seen the Time interview. He was on the red carpet of a Time magazine event, and they asked him, "Hey, are you going to the White House on Monday to celebrate with your team and meet Donald Trump?" And he just looked at the interviewer and walked off. And they said, "Thank you, Jaylen." And he just kind of like walked off and gave a look. Then it came up a couple days later that he was not going to the White House due to quote unquote scheduling conflicts. And that is what happened. So there's that. This also reportedly happened in 2023 when him and his agent left Lil Wayne's Young Money sports agency because Lil Wayne took a photo with former president at the time, now current president, Donald Trump. And so that was 2023. And so you know, some people were like, well, hey, he was already at the White House. Hold on, let me pull this up. Jaylen Herz meets Donald Trump. So it was already a thing. Hold on, let me see. I guess this is it. This is definitely fake AI page, by the way. Yeah, 100%. Anyways, the quote from Eagles fans is real. Jaylen Herz has already met Trump. So back in Trump's first, kind of, excuse me. Excuse me, y'all. His first term in office, Jaylen Herz was there with University of Alabama. I'd argue here that, like in college, you literally do not know what's about to go down, bro. Like, especially like Hertz. Like, imagine if Hertz was, you know what I'm saying, the backup. He became the backup in the championship game. He does not know where his career is going to go. He enters the transfer portal, goes to Oklahoma, has a good year at Oklahoma, gets picked up in the second round by Philly, and you guys know the rest. Even doubted throughout his pro career and stuff like that. But, like, you know what I'm saying? At this time, he probably had no clue, bro. He probably just went just to go. You know what I'm saying? He was in college. He's like a bit younger and stuff like that. But his actions as of recent, the past few years, have been consistent. And someone else pointed this out of the three players who didn't go: Devontae Smith, Jaylen Herz, and AJ Brown. They pointed out another thing as well, because of course the same day Saquon Barkley was in the news for meeting Trump, golfing with him, having dinner with him, and then going to the White House the next day and then putting out a statement about it on his Twitter, Cry Louder. But Malcolm Jenkins, shout out to Malcolm Jenkins, he spoke on Jaylen Herz. He called him a hero for not going to the White House to meet with President Donald Trump. This is from Dolph Kellman. Now, this account was actually bought from the actual real journalist. So sometimes they have parody posts. So you have to be careful with this page. I'll look it up to see if it's verifiable. But I know for a fact with this Twitter page, you have to be careful. Okay, cool. Yeah, no, there's an entire Instagram post about it. Cool. Is there anyone prepared to handle this moment? If anyone is prepared to handle this moment, it's Jalen Hurts. What do y'all think of his decision to skip the White House? Earlier, I shared my thoughts on my Substack. Link in bio. Shout out to Malcolm Jenkins, bro. He was one of the leaders of the entire kind of NFL Players Coalition movement in the mid 2010s when Kaepernick was doing his thing, and other players around the league kind of took knees as well during the national anthem in support of Kaepernick and support of the protests against what the United States and all the things that were going on in the country, in particular racism, though. Some moments in my career are about wins and losses. Others are about who you are when the game isn't being played. 7 years ago, I learned that firsthand of how success in sports can collide with politics and power. When my Eagles team won the Super Bowl in 2018, myself and other key players on the roster declined the invitation to visit the White House. In return, the invitation for the entire team was rescinded. We didn't face any criticism. We didn't just face criticism, excuse me. We were thrust into the cultural storm that had very little to do with football and everything to do with what we stood for. Today, Jalen Hurts finds himself standing at that same crossroads. This week, the Philadelphia Eagles traveled to Washington, D.C. to be honored by President for their Super Bowl win, but their franchise quarterback, their MVP, their leader, wasn't with them. Jalen Hurts chose not to attend. By choosing not to go, Jalen didn't just make a personal decision. He made a public one. And with that decision comes a whole new set of challenges, media scrutiny, locker room dynamics. Media scrutiny, I'll read it out. Every word he says about or doesn't say will be dissected, framed, and spun. Locker room dynamics. As the leader, stepping away from a team event, even for principled reasons, creates distance he'll need to bridge carefully. I think Malcolm Jenkins' mom went to A&T, bro. I think Malcolm Jenkins' mom went to A&T with my mom. So salute to like random fun fact. Yeah. In fun fact, if you guys didn't know that my mom went to North Carolina A&T. Shout out to the Aggie. Public pressure. In one of the more intensive sports markets in the country, every move he makes now will be judged even more harshly. Cultural responsibility, his silence, his words, his posture, all of it will matter to the people watching who are looking for signs of courage, authenticity, and leadership. If Jalen Hurts navigates this, he solidifies himself as a selfless leader, willing to risk comfort to honor his values. He strengthens his integrity and cultural capital in a way few athletes ever achieve. He shows the next generation what it looks like to stand on principle and not just play for applause. He joins the tradition of athletes who use their peak to push conversations forward, not shy away from them, not because he was loud, not because he was divisive, but because he was clear. Leadership isn't just about leading a team. It's about leading a conversation. Jalen's decision stands in opposition to a culture that often puts players to just shut up and play. Instead, he's choosing to lead, not just with his arm, but with his mind, his values, and his presence. It's a risk, but it's also an opportunity to become something much bigger than a champion. It's the first steps towards becoming an icon, not just because of he won, but because of what he stood for when it counted. Shout out to Malcolm Jenkins, bro. Jenkins. That was wonderfully penned, my brother. Shout out to my dog who was with the Seahawks. What was his name? He was writing the children's books at that time too. He was a brother. The Bennett brothers. He was extremely intelligent too. I didn't agree with everything they said, but they were smart. I respect people that are smart. Like even if I don't agree with what you're saying, it's like, oh, I don't agree with you, but like I can acknowledge and respect the fact that you're smart. Elias Ricks, I believe this is his name. He had a different take on the oh wow. No, he tripled down on it, bro. Donald Trump daughter is beautiful. Dang. After seeing her in person, Ivanka is exactly my type. And then he retweets a photo dump of Ivanka. Bro. What? And then he retweeted Saquon he quadrupled down. Hold on, brother. Let me look up this man. He must have went to LSU because all the LSU people following him. Yeah, he did go to LSU. Okay. All right. Shout out to Elias Riggs. But geez, at least he's 23. Went to IMG Academy. Where is he from? He's from California. Okay, that's interesting. That's different. Okay, bet. I guess we can go straight to the Saquon thing then, huh? So all right, we'll read the Saquon thing. So this is the other side. So you seen the side that was silent about not going, and now we are going to the side that is vocal about going. LOL. Some people are really upset because I played golf and flew to the White House with the quote with the all caps president. Maybe I just respect the office, not a hard concept to understand. I just golfed with Obama not too long ago, and I look forward to finishing my round with Trump. Now get out of my mentions with all of this politics and have a good day. I said good day. You guys know that from Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. I said good day now. I think that's Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. It might be another Disney show. I didn't mean to yell so loud. You know, it's late. I don't want to wake up people too much. So then the White House posted. They posted about him, but it was like the White House was posting like the Philadelphia Eagles, bro. Look at these captions. We are not the same. It's a pin tweet. Are y'all serious? Why are they running the White House Twitter account like it's the Wendy's Twitter account, bro? Most people want child. It seems like at Jake Tapper will rather protect them. Bro, what? This is crazy. This is my first time like looking at the White House Twitter, bro. Like I know they had when they had Kodak in there and there was like yak in the White House or something like that. And I was like, they just laughing in black people's faces right now. Make America safe again. To strengthen America's law enforcement. How's it? I already got on my head for my Cop City thoughts. We are thrilled. Where they at? I feel like they just posting the same thing. It's what you call that for engagement, for analytics. You post the same thing over and over and see if it does better later in the afternoon. Arrested. So they just bragging about the legal immigrants. Here it is right here. Now get out of my mentions with all this politics and have a good day. How is it going to get out of my mentions with these politics and you doing something political? You know what I'm saying? You ever notice when people just be like on some dumb stuff, bro? And you know what I mean? And they do whatever. I had another famous Eagles fans reaction, but I ain't gonna lie, I'm gatekeeping because I'm hoping I could get them on stream. But a famous Eagles fan, legendary, like some legendary stuff. A hint, I'll give a hint for the people watching the replay and watched it this far, 13, 14 minutes in. A hint, look at what's happening and the top what's happening trending thing. This in this tab right now. That's a hint. Okay. LOL. Some people are really upset because I played. Now look forward to finishing my round with Trump. Now y'all get out my mentions with these wild politics and have a good day. Who's a 13-year-old still running this White House account? Shout out to Yuri. Yuri, stupid boy. Shout out Yuri. Some real Atlanta legend. Okay. Who else? I think that was pretty much it. That was it. There was this whole conversation about Saquon Barkley switching up because apparently Saquon said like in 2020. Hold on, let me see. I'm gonna pull this one up too. Might as well. Where are we at, Saquon? Where is Saquon? Where's Saquon? Where's the Saquon thing? All right, it's not there. It's somewhere else. I hope everybody's having a good day at the time you're watching this and things of that sort. I gave you guys a couple of different things, man. I gave y'all a couple of different things today. Like, You know what I'm saying? Diversifying, showing some effort on the channel again, not just pumping out content for the sake of pumping out content. I'm trying to give effort again. You know what I mean? 2020, the protests were amazing and inspiring. There's also a clip of Saquon Barkley doing an interview in Atlanta for Honcho Day. Well, that's Gwinnett County technically at a Honcho Day, which is Quavo's annual football game, and he had Colin Kaepernick come out and play quarterback. That was a surprise. And in an interview walking off the field, Saquon was like, "Yo, yeah, I talked to Colin. He talked to me about like how to move off the field and stuff like that. And I told him I really look up to him, and he really inspired me to think beyond football. And he's so intelligent and this and that." And in 2020, he says the protests are amazing and inspiring, but please, in the 2 or 3 weeks when the protests are no longer happening, we still need change. We still need to come together as a community, and we need action. Exclamation point. Racism and injustice cannot exist. Exclamation point. 2025. 5 years later. LOL, some people really upset because I played and golfed and flew to the White House with the president, all caps. Maybe I just respect the office. Not a hard concept to understand. Just golf with Obama not too long ago. ... And I look forward to finishing my round with Trump! Exclamation point. Now you get out of my mentions, you filthy rascals, with all this politics, and have an amazing day. Laughing emoji. I'm from the deuce, the four, the eight, the four. Come on, Saquon. This is Saquon. And this is America. And this is Devontae, Jaylen Herz, and AJ Brown. Now, if you weren't, is this going to cause a rift in the locker room? No, like you guys, if you guys work within a diverse, you know what I'm saying, which is less likely nowadays because of the current administration, ironically, but if you guys work in a diverse workroom, there's obviously coworkers that you have who might not believe the same things you believe, whether or not it's like on the left or the right. I know me personally, you know, I'm kind of, you know what I mean? Not real. But regardless of where people lean and if it doesn't agree with your politics and stuff like that, you still go to work. Like, you still go to work. So I don't think this is going to affect the Eagles' chances of repeating next year. If they don't repeat, it's not going to be because of the political differences and just a rift in the locker room. I think it'll be because of playing reasons and things of that sort. So yeah. All right, bet. Next thing.
That's for losers, man. I don't get involved in that stuff, but
Angel Rashad Milligan rolling out.
That's a good question.
We can't ask Rashad questions.
Hey, Rashad.